Hey everybody, it's Valen from Mischief of Mice, here with Orcs Must Die, Unchained. It's just come out to open beta, and I figured I'd show everybody what this is looking like so far. I have not been in the closed beta, so I'm fresh and just getting into it, but I thought people might like to see what this game's all about. Now, if you are familiar with the Orcs Must Die franchise, I don't know if franchise is the proper word, but the series, you will find out that essentially there's a lot of traps in this game, and it's kind of like a tower defense, but you're actively in the line of fire with the enemies coming towards you. Now this actually adds in a multiplayer aspect to it, and actually does quite well with it. I'm not sure if I'm on board with how this is going to end up turning out in the end, but we'll find out. So, let's jump in here. First and foremost, you can see you can get daily logins, rewards for just logging in every single day, and you can you see your player progress and so on. I've played just a couple games so that I could actually understand what it is I was talking about, and so that you guys wouldn't see me just floundering around not knowing what the heck I'm doing. Which, not to say that I'm some experienced person after playing like 3 games, but I mean, therefore you can see at least some of the basics and understand if this game is for you. So, once we're past that, you can see we're on the main page here, and they've got lots of different ways that you can check things out. You can actually create your own friends list up here. Don't worry, the screen is actually small now. This is just the login screen for it. Once you end up getting into the game, it will go full screen. But you can actually kind of customize things for you, and this is where they will probably excel and might possibly fail. We'll see. But jumping into the workshop. To start off with, currently there are 5 heroes to choose from, and it might be that they're actually on a weekly rotation. Like I said, this is day 1 or 2 here, that it's just come out to the open beta, so I couldn't really tell you if they're going to do a rotation on it, but it seems like they will do a hero rotation from what I was looking at here. And you can choose the different characters. They've got their different stats. As you can see, you've got Maximilian, who's your all-around guy. Then you've got some that are more focused on combat and so on. Now, if you click on one of them, like Blackpaw here, you can actually hover over their abilities, and it tells you each one of them, how well they are to attack, how well they defend against attackers, and so on. But then they also have, how well they survive enemy attacks. There's a difference there, meaning like some of them, this guy here has a really big health steal mechanic, and is meant to do a bunch of damage and escape, because if he's in a prolonged battle, he'll probably end up going down quite quickly. But I mean, you've got lots of information in here. So you've got lots of characters. Let's go back to the hero screen. Now, this actually will... Let's say I choose this character here. You can actually click on their abilities and check them out. You can do this in game, but it does not. It's not really. Doesn't lend itself to it because the game is very faster paced than you might expect. Now it does give you a few seconds at the beginning, so you can actually check things out. But it also does have a really neat thing where you can actually click here on the side, and it will show you the different animations, so you can see what their different abilities look like when they're actually being used. For instance, she's using a group stun here, and there you go. I mean, it's pretty neat. I do like some of this stuff. It does kind of jump you into a couple of tutorials, so you don't even know what your options are to check out what your abilities are. It just says press buttons really at the beginning, which really is all you need to do. But I mean, you can actually up these upgrades here, for instance. As your character levels up throughout the battle, you may gain different tiers. Therefore, you can upgrade some of your different abilities, as you see here, like Blink and Kinetic Pulse. If you choose these, you can upgrade your Blink on this one. Tier 2, you can upgrade your Kinetic Pulse. Then you could choose Kinetic Pulse again and again as you level up. No guarantees that you're actually going to make it to the high levels. I mean, in the few games that I've played, I actually only ended up making it to the second tier. But then again, I've been playing more defensive, and I actually wasn't expecting to play this hero, though I did end up playing her as it was. Now, each hero does have their own unique trap or ability. In this case, she can place a trap that will end up spawning a little guardian that will then attack enemies as they come near. So it's pretty neat. Then of course there's different skins that you can unlock, that are pretty cool, and it's just aesthetic stuff. And there are different ways of crafting. So if I want to unlock this character permanently, instead of it just being on a weekly rotation, then I would have to obtain a minimum of 750 skulls plus 450 rift embers. And it actually tells you how do you get them. Well, they're found in runebound chests, which can be purchased in the store, and there is an in-store purchasing system. And it's found in oak chests, which are rewards for playing games. So there are multiple ways of getting it. Obviously, the oak chests are going to be slower, and you probably won't get as much as quickly, but that can be remedied by just purchasing something in-game, which I understand. They're wanting mini transactions. That seems to be the way things are going nowadays. Now, this is actually kind of the downside to it as well. But actually, to continue on with that, let's say that I want to purchase her. I could just feasibly choose that option and buy that character, but I don't think that they actually have it set up yet, because I don't have a way of purchasing gold as of yet. So jumping into some of the cards, there are different abilities that you'll have at the bottom of your screen. You start off with 1. And therefore you can heal yourself. Later on you have other things that will allow you to do different abilities that will replace that 1 card. So it's kind of like building a deck for like Magic the Gathering style, but it's real time, so it's on the fly, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to counter a card that someone else has if you don't end up using it. But you can actually end up making gear, traps, guardians, which are things that you can unlock, traits, and so on. Now, this is just survival. There are different game modes. There's, of course, practice, which allows you to do this stuff. Let's see if I can actually, if I click play here, I'll give you an idea. You have your practice, which allows you survival, practice tutorials, siege tutorials, custom siege games. So you can actually try out some strategies, some things like that. Then you've got your survival, which is classic Orcs Must Die stuff. It's very, you set up traps and you defend points, you try and take points, and so on. Then you've got your siege, which is 5 on 5. You either have 5 people versus 5 AI, or 5 people versus 5 people, which I found actually quite entertaining, at least at this point in the game. So if I'm to go back to the workshop here, and we actually go into siege cards, you see there's the same cards again under survival and siege. They actually separate out the different kinds of stuff for siege and survival. Pretty neat. The materials, you obtain, as you see here, I've got 40 of these radiant clockworks. I've got 218 of the donkey fat. It's just stuff that you end up picking up that either mobs will drop or items will be picked up throughout the battles. Then of course you got your keystones and so on. But you can also end up customizing your abilities. Now if you go with your survival stuff, you're just going to have traps. You're not going to have the siege abilities. But if you go into the player versus player, or the 5-man versus 5 AI, then you're going to actually have your own little mini army spawning as well. So you're having armies spawn on both sides of the battlefield instead of just you fighting them. And therefore you want to be able to upgrade them, plus lay your own traps to defend against them. Once you get into the store, this is where I'm a little bit afraid. Once they add the option in so that you can actually purchase gold, then of course you'll not only be able to craft heroes and such, but it's the items that worries me. If you go into, let's see here, consumables, you can actually buy potions of health and restore your health. You can do 100% coin income for 15 seconds. Movement speed. You can actually, enemies entering the rift are worth no victory points for 8 seconds. Instantly resurrects all dead allied heroes. This is stuff that you can just buy straight up with gold coins, which I believe are purchasable through cash. Like real life cash. And this is the stuff that I don't like. I understand the options of possibly getting these, and more experienced users versus somebody else. It could be completely wasted money that somebody, buys a whole bunch of these, uses all 5 of them in a battle, and still ends up losing badly, and therefore it's money lost. But at the same time, it does give people with more money an advantage. And I understand that they're trying to actually make this so that they can make money off of it, because currently it's free to play. You can get it on Steam. I'll have the link down in the description. But I do not really like the idea of pay to win. I like it much more to pay to unlock aesthetics, or even if you want to obtain more heroes quicker instead of just like kind of grinding to unlock the heroes or something. But that's just my own personal preference. So I'm sure that those that have actually gone this long in the video are probably interested in what the gameplay's like. Well, I'm not going to show you the survival version, which is just kind of the tower defense style. I am going to be going into Seige in Seige co-op, which is 5 players versus 5 bots. And we're essentially going to be jumping in here. It's going to start doing this, and it does actually allow you to start exploring. You know, you can actually go check out some recipes on how to make yourself some new abilities or cards or things like that, or just check out some of the different stats that your characters will have. And here's actually something that I think is a good idea, is that you don't get to choose your character before going in. You choose it after. So therefore, whoever clicks first gets the character they want first. And I'm fine with that, actually, because what it forces you to do is to learn the talents and abilities of some of the other characters so that you know what you're up against. As I've played in some other games, I'll say League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm, you typically choose a hero first, and then you go into the battle. And then the matchup takes a while, because if there's any duplicates, obviously you're not going to be on the same team as you. But if you end up wanting, you know, that hero, that's cool, you know, which I understand. I did want to play like Hogarth to start with, but everybody kept on clicking on him, and I ended up with Gabriella because I was just slow to click. And as it turned out, I liked her, which was fine. But this way you actually as you saw there, that was just to make sure everybody was awake. So you choose a character, and then you lock in once everybody has chosen theirs. And you see the last person here is going to be forced with Hogarth. Now, as bad as that may seem, you can actually end up... now I chose an attacker, or you've got attacker, defender, pillager role. I chose defender, and then you lock it in. You can select your different decks, you can select your different skins, and so on. And you can see the different roles of everybody here. Looks like we've got a lot of attackers. Everybody really likes to be attacker. I like to be a defender because actually I tend to do a lot more damage that way and get a lot more money for traps and whatnot. But you can see here everybody's locked in. He's the only one that's not. And this essentially... it just forces you to learn everybody else's abilities and styles. And I think that's often key to a really good strategy game, is to know all the other abilities of the other heroes. So here we go. We'll be starting in just a few seconds. So I do really like that aspect of it. I understand that not everybody's going to be able to play the character that they want to play. Sometimes there may be other characters that are going to be weaker or stronger, because after all, this is the beta, and even upon release that's still probably going to happen, because there are so many different things you can customize in this game, with all the different items you can craft, materials you can make, which I thought was awesome. But I just really don't know if I like the pay to win option on here. So I guess some really talented people though could show up any of the pay to winners quite well. So you can see here, we've got a list of her abilities. She has a passive one where minions will not attack her unless they're specifically hero targeted. She has the ability to blink, which allows her to jump backwards into a brief stun. She's got this area of effect stun that will affect all allies for several seconds, or enemies, not allies, but if you attack them they will then wake up, which is actually better than I thought. Then she's got her default Magic Blast and her Kinetic Pulse, which deals damage in cone shape, but she also ends up reactivating all traps in an area.
Beware of me!
So there is actually a big disadvantage on this map already, and that is the fact that we currently have only 4 players on our team. Somebody ended up dropping out at the beginning. Well, this is the beta, so it's something that you're going to want to be very aware of, is that
Perfect fit.
could end up being a bad thing. So let's see, we'll add some
I do love my
here,
toys.
and we'll add this here. And I can't put any more down over there. I think I'm actually out of... I am out of funds. Let's eliminate that and put down something that'll do some damage, shall we? We'll do
That's the spot.
that one. I like that one quite a bit. Alright. And then the enemies are going to come up, and they're going to try either attacking our walls, or they're going to start trying to move in and try and gank us. Actually, we've got someone running up right now, and we've got
We're breaking through the defenses.
somebody actually is coming up. If you look on the mini-map along the other side there. Now, these guys here are the Guardians. They're going to be protecting the area. They're
Broken through the
very,
gate.
very durable. And they can actually do quite a bit of damage to heroes and allies. So often fighting a hero near one of those is a good idea, because you're going to end up getting a boost from them as well. They'll also end up doing... Let's end up doing my special area of effect, blast, and only hit one or two. There we go. Or I stunned all of them, except for those that were being attacked, which in this case was bad because everybody was being attacked. But being near this guy here, he ends up regenerating my health and mana as we go, which is excellent. Oh, this guy's got
Your blood is
crossbows.
both first and
Good deal.
mine.
Alright, well, I am going to drop down some of
perfect
these...
fit.
Actually, I'm going to pick that back up and put
I
that...
do love my toys.
Put that... here. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to put another one of these. You know what? I'm not going to put one there. Yes, I am. Because next round I'll put a barricade down. But this guy has some different defense abilities. They've got these giant grizzly bears coming in. We could actually probably fortify something right now. But as the wave's ongoing and it appears we'll need the assistance, I'm going to hold off on that. And I just used my ability to reinitiate traps a second time, so that these guys all ended up getting hit by the blades the second time that we're going through it. And I just leveled up. So you can see on the left I've got my upgrades ability going on, and that allows me to essentially just buff myself in some way, shape, or form. And I'm about to die, so I'm going to just jump back and hover by this guy while I choose my level up ability. There we go. And while I am now pretty much good to go, I'm actually going to use this character's unique ability, and that is to generate a
You will defend until I
knight
release you.
that pops up on that spot. It's really cool. Let's see here. Do I have enough? I don't have enough.
Oh, this one's not a good.
There we go. So you can see, there we go. We've got a little glowy knight here to help us reinforce this area. And we might be able to actually start doing a little damage on some of their crates. Now, if I would not attack these guys, they would not have attacked me. But as I did, they're probably going to attack me, though not necessarily in a focused manner. I mean, their entire objective is just to get to our core, and every time they get one of these guys gets to our core, that'll score at least 1 point for the enemy's team. And if you look, I've got that knight there. He's actually going to distract these guys and keep them occupied in an area while they end up getting just destroyed. So let's put another one of these
Perfect
barricades there. Excellent. That's what I was looking for. And why not? We're going to put another one of these. No, we're going to space it out. We're going to put one of those there. And an arrow wall there. Excellent. Alright, so we've got a pretty decent setup. Perhaps we might be able to get...
The enemy has empowered both.
With a new minion point.
Oh, we've got a friendly just showed up here. And they are attacking
Little purple scar.
this character here. But as they're both low, There we go, teamwork. We just ended up convincing them to back off enough. Oh, no you don't. I don't think so. See, you can the maneuverability on this ends up helping out quite a bit. And you can actually turn the tide on them, but be aware that team fights often are used in a distracting manner. Now they spawned one of these guys here, an earth elemental of sorts. He's essentially going to be the biggest, most difficult thing we could possibly face at this point in the game. And it's not going to bear good news for us. And I'm going to hit him, try and reactivate some traps as he goes through. We actually might be able to take him down. Wow. Oh, no, I guess that wasn't quite enough. I forgot he turns into little guys as well. Now, if I actually retreat behind our wall, that's not really going to do too much because I won't be able to shoot through it. The enemy won't either, but it's not going to necessarily bode well for this. Of course, you see the big red area there. Oh, and there's someone. I tried activating the traps as they retreated, but it didn't really do much good there. Let's see if we can actually do a little bit of a push. Oh, no, don't think so. Oh, and there's 3 of them. I'm going to back up and run away. Turn on my regeneration ability and stand in a more defensible area. Now, we've got more guys coming in, so I'm going to start putting down some more traps here. Let's put down some spikes and another one of these smoldering. Oh, I'm out of money. Alright, actually I can go back and
They will not reach
refortify our castle keep, and I should show this off actually. Let's see if I can get over there from here. And that is here. I press F, open it up, and I can actually upgrade or switch out the different minions. Now this one here actually already is. They're all level 2, so I can't really upgrade those guys anymore. I could go back over to the other side and upgrade the other spawner as well. We have 2 spawner sets. This one here, and those are all set as well, but they're all level 1, which is regrettable. So it looks like we're getting pressed hard, and I should probably have been reinforcing this guy instead of messing around with these. Ooh. And you end up dying, you end up losing, you know, some time on the battlefield, which you are some of the most powerful things that can be out there.
We're breaking through the defenses.
So you can see they actually busted through the door. Or no, this is one of our people. Sorry about that. But we're going to try and run up.
Through the defenses. I will quit my post.
And possibly reinforce this area if we can. Let's see if I can actually
keep going.
The shrines may
level up.
now be empowered.
So I just empowered my retrap ability power, and by lowering the cooldowns on it by a good 9 seconds there. So I'm going to wait for them to get in the traps, and then I'm going to... it looks like I'm not even going to have to. We've got a really good trap setup here with lots of combos. Excellent. And this warrior placed in the middle is actually really doing work. I'm happy about that. So I might put down another one of them right here.
Retainer, you are summoned.
And he'll slow them down yet again. In fact, I might... nah, I'm just going to save the money for the moment. As much as I could add more. Oh, that was good. That was one of our guys killing one of theirs. And they destroyed that person. Then we want to get these relics, which will help us level up our forts and forces. But we're going to want to watch out. That guy there will destroy me in like 1 hit. So if you're trying to solo one of those bosses, it's a bad idea. It will actually not allow you to do any damage at all. Oh, and they've got another boss coming in. This is going to be a hard uphill battle with only 4 players on our team fighting the 5 of theirs. We're going to want to try and focus in on just the ogre if possible. The bad thing is, with these guys, is that they're not slowed by physical attacks. They end up, let's see if we can actually... Oh, this is good.
By my command.
Do area damage, reinitiate those. Boy, he's just taking out our troops quick. See, they're escorting him in, which is really good for them. Really bad for us. Oh boy, this is not boding well for us. But essentially, the lower health those guys have, the I don't want that. I want this.
Death does not excuse you.
I'm just adding in some quick reinforcements here. Though I think it'll take them a moment before they'll actually spawn anything. There we go. They spawned in just in time. Give us a little bit of reinforcement. Buy us a little more time. Alright. But those ogres, the lower health they get, the faster they move, which is really frustrating. And these guys are just up here, retreating again. Gosh. Now there are actually objectives on the sides of the map. You'll notice that there are little lock symbols. Over time, those will end up being...
It's not all that.
Oh boy, this is not going to be easy. Those are going to be allowing us to spawn bonuses and earn extra rewards. Uh-oh. This is going to be fun. And you can see I'm being focused by the enemy hero. I'm just going to use my ability right there to reinitiate all the traps a second time. And see if I can actually pause everybody that doesn't take damage for a moment. And you can see how the trap setups can really help take things down. In the past, often it's been very like 1v1
A good plan
in fighting the
violently.
hero-to-hero battles, but sometimes when you're down a man you end up needing to focus on other strategies. And here he comes.
You missed.
See if I can lure him in. Come here, come here. Yeah, there you go. Oh, where are you going? You don't want to do a 2v1?
Enemy guardian!
That's good news. That means that we actually are gaining a foothold on the enemy's territory at this point. And this means that this here is actually one of the special glyphs that characters can lay down that will allow them to, you see I'm being ignored by these guys. That will allow them to,
the shrines may now be empowered.
allow them to gain benefits like automatic health regeneration over time. I'm gonna jump in here, see if I can actually help speed things up a bit here. I'm gonna
Excellent
word of power again. Oh wow, looks like we had a focused, concentrated effort by everybody coming in. Let's put another smoldering item here. We're gonna put down some more cutting blades. And why not? We put down some cutting blades over here. Oh. And I'm out of money. And of course the enemy moves in, but I think he's gonna be made quick work of. Yeah, they finished him off quite well. Alright, actually we're still making some good progress here. Uh oh, and they're capturing outside points right now. Oh, you see both of the shrines have been captured, and they're basically going to be bringing in some boss minions at this point. Alright, let's see if we can actually do anything here. And we can upgrade everybody here. Let's see, let's upgrade the grizzly bears to ogres.
I suppose you are suited for this after all.
Upgrade these guys to ogres, and these guys we're going to upgrade to a group. It's often good to get a little bit of a mix in there and not just the one. So they got the far right side, which means we might be able to steal it back perhaps, but I see that there's some trouble coming up here.
The defenses.
Ah, alright.
Broken through the gate.
And there's the enemy trying to come in the back door once again.
Stay back!
See if actually I can do some damage here. There we go.
More power is always welcome.
Battle level 13. Okay. And with that done, I'm going to try and move up and take that. You can see these little red lines on the map. That actually represents where the enemy is moving in. I'm going to skip these guys, and I'm going to see if I can steal this shrine and possibly get ourselves a bonus instead.
We've defeated an enemy guardian! We have empowered both shrines for a boss minion!
And there we go. We now have both shrines, and we can get a boss minion. Alright, I'll see if I can head back and possibly help reinforce where those guys busted a move past me earlier.
We're breaking through the defenses!
And there we go. Looks like another player was already on top of that, and that was really good news there.
We are close to victory!
Excellent. So what happened is a bunch of enemy minions got into the, or a bunch of friendly minions got into the enemy core and destroyed it. And victory. Oh, and it looks like we may have earned ourselves a reward from that battle. Looks like we got some ethereal motes, new crafting material. Oh, almost 200 of them. Alright. And our victory. Daily quest combo time. Rift Embers times 10. And these are actually very valuable. They're one of the more interesting things that you'll need in order to unlock a lot of things like characters, skins, and abilities. But let's keep going. Next rank. You've earned 500 skulls, or 300 skulls, alright. I'm now count level 4, and you end up getting a whole bunch of items that you scavenged from the battle, plus from leveling up. And you can see your stats as your team versus the enemy team here. Now you can also end up seeing how the players did, and you can see we ended up winning 15 to 8. Your average game time is probably going to be less than what we ended up doing there, but that was because we had a short one-man down, if you will. So rating, looks like as usual the werewolf character is very all-in type, doing a lot of damage, really high rating. Kills, deaths, and assists. I had a lot of assists because, well, I was more defense focused. I was more about the traps and occasionally sniping to help support another character. Whereas you can see some of the others had some really big kill counts. Damage dealt, you can see I actually was still doing pretty good in comparison. I came in number 2. And not by very much either. But player damage dealt, not as much. And these guys did a lot more player damage, but they are more attack-oriented of a character. Minion damage dealt, that's where I shined, because I was focusing strictly on defense, therefore a lot of the minions that were coming in. We didn't get ganked by the enemy team too often, which was fortunate in our opinion. Or in my opinion. Hit accuracy, I'm not that good of an aim, plus I was talking half the time and trying to point at things while I was shooting, but glyphs placed, usually you only end up having like 1 or so people, but you can place more as they become available on the ground, which will buff your allies. Or give negative effects to enemies. Minion kills with no traps. You can see I did a lot of that. That was probably at that backdoor entrance, me just doing a lot of just shooting at them. Trap kills, there was plenty of those, though Stexis there was really focused in on that. He was kind of a defense as well, which was well appreciated. Traps placed, I had a lot of them placed. I had them placed just about everywhere as well. And of course you got the coins earned. Typically I am one of the highest earning ones because I picked Defender, but in this case he was really focused in on reinforcing as well. Now just because you didn't get the highest, you know, getting all these green numbers, doesn't mean that you didn't do any better or worse than the other players. You can get just short of those and still donate quite a bit of stuff. You can see he did a lot of trap placement. He had the most trap kills, you know, and so on. But it's really cool. I do like this quite a bit. Moving on from this, you see we've got a little exclamation mark up there. We can check out in the workshop what the new items are that we just obtained. Materials, you see we've got all these new cards in here, and if you had enough of them, by going into your siege cards, or even your survival cards if you're playing survival, you'd be able to actually end up saying, alright, well let's scroll down, I have enough, I can now make some of these items. They will actually say on there in big letters, craft, and then you can just click on it and choose to craft it. But we don't actually have enough items just yet to craft anymore. Now you'll see that I actually was using brimstone. I also had wall blades. These are not things that are available to you when you first start. You have to purchase those. So after playing a few games, I did end up using these. And also, you'll probably notice that it's a little bit different setup than when I actually had the screen come up before, when I first went into this game. The reason was I had some recording issues and had to actually try again before I was able to get the proper recording in here. But I didn't mind. It allowed me to actually play just another game. So, hope you guys like this foray into Orcs Must Die Unchained. I find it's got a lot of replayability. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that it's not dominated by the pay-to-win type attitude, and I hope that they are able to make this work out. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, see ya.